Hi folks, I'm the Bald Guy, and these are Bald Guy Basics. Today I want to do a product review that is more observation than real, researched review. I try to be spontaneous, so my reviews are never scripted. I literally think about it for a couple of minutes, turn the camera on, and here we go. But recently, I was able to procure something I've been looking for more than a year. It was about a year ago that I heard about a solar generator. And I thought, gee, that's interesting. I don't know how important it would be for my life, but I like the idea of it. So I've been looking for one on the used market ever since. And just a few days ago, I procured this. This is the EcoFlow River 2, which is the smallest model that I'm aware of in their lineup. If you're not familiar with solar generators, simply put, they're large batteries. They are batteries with extended capacity. This one is about the size of a lunchbox or so. Not only is it a battery, but it is also a power inverter. So you have on one side your DC ports, 12 volts out, 5 volts out. You see across the bottom here, there are 2 USB-A ports, 1 USB-C port. And over here on the other side, there is a single outlet for AC, 120 volt. It actually, if you look closely, you say, well, that's 2 outlets. Well, it's the same circuit. One of them is a 3-point plug and one of them is a 2-point plug. So I don't know why they needed to put an extra plug, because a 2-point plug will fit easily into the 3-point receptacle. But be that as it may, what you have here is a unit that, according to the manufacturer specs, they are lithium batteries, but they're lithium batteries with something extra, and I'm not expert enough to tell you what that something is. But what it allows this unit to do is to be able to retain 80% of its charge 10 years down the road. So many lithium batteries, here's an example, which the batteries in these don't go bad as fast as they seem to. Brother Apple is notorious for adding a piece of software that, according to them, makes your phone safer by discharging your battery. So when you get a year and a half or 2 years on an iPhone, suddenly the battery life begins to decay. They were sued, they stopped it for a while, and then they've started it back. That is not part of my review today, but it is part of my aggravation. This unit is great in that you can bring 120 volt power inside your house, and it makes next to no noise whatsoever. There is a cooling fan on the back of the unit, so when you're using the AC aspect of this power, you're going to hear a little 12 volt fan, and that's it. The unit asks you to download an app, and the app is very straightforward. I'm hitting my volume button here. It gives you up front the available amount of power, and I'm at 99% here. On the bottom down here, I'm able to, by remote control, toggle the various outlets on and off. So I can cut my 12 volt DC on or off. I can cut my AC on or off. That's all the mobile app does that I can tell. It tells you at 99% at present discharge, which is 0, I have 100 hours left, 99 hours and 59 minutes. So that's as high as it goes. It tells me how many watts output I have at the time. The basic benefit of this app is that you can plug something up and then you can leave. And you can turn it on and off remotely, and you can see where your battery level is. That being said, this particular unit, which is the River 2, there's also a River, I don't know if it's a River 2 Pro or just a River Pro, but they get bigger and bigger, and they've got units that are substantially bigger. They are all rechargeable by solar panel. However, you have to buy the solar panel separately. And the cost of these units is considerable, but not depending on your need, maybe not too outrageous. This unit lists at about $240, $239.95. I saw it when I went to bargain to buy this one on the used market. I found it on Facebook Marketplace. I began to look, and there are various sales. This is the end of the year. We're right at Christmas. So there's a lot of, the Black Friday type sales going on. I found this for as little as $200 for a new unit. This unit is, according to the person I bought it from, and it looks it, I've got the box and all the paperwork with it. I was told it was only used a couple of times, but I got it for about half of that full retail price, which was the only reason I would buy the thing. So in the box, besides the unit, you get an AC power charging cord. You get a DC power charging cord. The charging ports are on the back. So your AC port here, your DC plug, which is on the end of our cord here, you can plug it into your car. At zero charge, now I have not tested this particular feature. At zero charge, if you're charging from home, you get about an hour to get a full 100% charge, which is incredible. This unit will give you a sustained output of 300 watts. It will give you the boosted output, or in terms of a power generator, like a gas generator, they call it their surge power. It can go up to 600 watts. They give you the data on how long it will last at a 300 watt drain. They give you the data so it sounds longer and longer. But I had to ask myself, once I looked at it and saw how interesting it was, and by the way, I've got just an easy an easy illustration of what this thing can do. So I have to turn on, and I'll do it with my app, turn on my AC plug. This is my standard, this is just a little Craftsman 110 volt Dremel tool, and works perfectly. Now, the information both on the screen here as well as on the app, when you're actively using this, it will tell you how long you can run at that particular drain. The fluorescent lights that I use down here in the shop are they're LED, so they're not terrible drain, but I plugged one of them in and I got just under 4 hours of projected drain time. So what good is this unit? Number one, if you live in an area with frequent power outages, this hands down is far superior to the small power banks that we're all familiar with. I've got a power bank that is about the size of this phone, and the surface of that power bank is solar powered, so it's supposed to be able to recharge itself. It holds power good. It will give me a good 2, maybe 2.5 recharges on my phone. A good 1.5 recharge on my iPad. But they go down quickly, and it takes quite a while to recharge it with the solar panel that's on there. But it's possible. I don't have a solar panel, but I can charge my phone, the wife's phone, our iPads. I can charge a lot of stuff with this multiple times before it goes down. And again, the benefit is it's silent. However, do I need it? That's problematic. I can run small appliances like the Dremel. I could run a small corded electric drill. But apart from that, my need, there's one other need that I actually do have, rather than just the sometimes we have to admit these are convenience items. These are just novelty for us. We can use them, but we don't necessarily need them. I have a shed down there, and I've made a video or two. It's just a standard lawnmower shed, and keep the lawnmower and some other equipment down there. And from time to time, not this time of year, I need light down there. Now, I put one of these overhead lights in down there, and when I needed to work past reasonable light, I would typically get out a 100-foot drop cord and plug it in here at the house, run it down the hill, and plug it in, so I would have power down there. But a unit like this is great for such applications. It will run the light for several hours. And again, this is the small one. This is the baby in the lineup. Larger ones, and I've seen this demonstrated, the larger ones, and I don't know their wattage rating, but they get bigger and bigger, and of course the price tag goes up and up. I've seen a person with a camper plug up their small electronics, they had some of those electric bikes, rechargeable bikes, and plugged up 2 of the bikes, and then also plugged in the heating cooling system on their RV. And it ran all of that, no trouble at all. So capacity will determine how useful this is. But as I was thinking about this, I realized there is one element that is really something to consider if you or a loved one has some very necessary health care equipment. For example, a CPAP machine for those who use CPAP at night, even an oxygen generator for those who need to be on oxygen. You want a system that will allow you to not have, I've got a gas generator and I can bring it up near the house and run a cord into the house. They're loud, they're smelly, and of course, all of these have a limited capacity. This limited by the size of the battery, that limited by the size of the gas tank. But for someone who has health issues and doesn't need to be going out and pulling a big heavy generator out, these units are great. A second application that is really nice, you can use this as a backup power supply for your computer. It has about a 30 millisecond changeover from, if you have it plugged in, you can have it plugged in and charging and discharging at the same time. When you have it configured that way, if I plugged in for me it's a laptop, if I had my laptop plugged into this, and then I ran my AC cord over to the outlet, and the AC power drops off in 30 milliseconds, which is a little long, but not terrible. Power is restored to my unit. With a laptop, it's not a problem because I've got an onboard battery in the laptop. For your desktop, it is questionable whether or not the system would want to reboot with that. However, for most of them, this seems workable. So it's a great little item if you want to keep it charged up all the time. Just plug it into the wall, plug your appliance like a computer into it, or a CPAP machine, or a small oxygen generator, and you'll do fine. So they're really nice for that, and you will get, like I say, I could not compare, because I just don't know, the wattage used by one of these LED lights and the wattage used by a CPAP machine, for example. So if you're buying them for those purposes, you need to do a little bit of research and check and see the capacity you need. I told you that the highest I saw this, the suggested retail price being $240, $239.95. The bigger units go up $500, $600, $700 and more. And if you're getting them with the EcoFlow brand solar panels, you're going to add several $100s. For this particular model, a small solar panel is going to run me somewhere between $150 and $200. And I give you that range because I don't remember the exact amount. I'm thinking about $160 if my memory serves, but I've said before, my memory and my hair are both in the same place, and neither one of them are here. They're somewhere else. So it's a nice little unit to have, depending on your need. If we end up in a bad weather situation, it's great to be able to have this unit in the house where I can plug in especially my electronics and recharge them. I could power my modem with this without having to string multiple cords all over the house. So it is really neat. However, this one's small, but when I saw it and you know, somebody said, well, I want this for it, and I said, well, I'll pay this for it, and you know, somebody told me about trading a long time ago. He said, number one, never trade even, and number two, never give boot. Well, if you tell me something's worth $1, I'm going to ask you if you'll take 50 cents. And if you say no, you're not going to hurt my feelings, but you never know until you ask. So I felt like I got a bargain on this. If I don't keep it, I feel like I can turn it around and at least get my money back, and probably get a little more since I do have the box. I like the units. They seem to be well made. They're pretty substantial. I like the idea behind this, especially you get clean energy inside the house without any racket to speak of. So in terms of loss of power here, we are just a couple of miles outside the little town that's up the road, and we're on the main power line. So when the power goes out in town, they fix it first. And when they fix the power in town, guess what? My power comes back on. So while I have a generator, I've got a gas generator. In fact, I've got a couple of gas generators. I've got a little gas generator, big gas generator. I've got power available for extended outages. But if I had a piece of health equipment that I wanted to make sure kept running in case the power went on at night, I'd run the power right through this thing and allow it to keep running, because you might not wake up. So it has some really neat implication. If you like to camp, if you like to, whether you're a tent camper or whatever, this is a really nice unit. For small jobs that I do outside the house, beyond the range of either my outlets or my extension cord, I can carry this and work for several hours with small equipment. But the reality is, I don't have a battery Dremel tool that would. I've got a little bitty one that runs off of a couple of batteries, but it's just for hobby work. So I could do some jobs in a remote area, and this power supply would work well. Because I have a vehicle, to get to a job, you can plug it in, and I think it said on the 12-volt system, close to 3 hours to get a full charge. But you could plug it into your vehicle and run 12 volts from it at the same time. You got to be careful, and that's where your app, I guess that's where your app gives you the best information, because here at the top, which you probably can't see, but there are zeros there. But there's an input and an output. So you can see if your charging is falling behind your usage. And that makes a nice difference. So this is the EcoFlow River 2 unit. I'm gonna find uses around here to play with, and it'll either move on down the road or it'll stay in the hoard here. But it's an interesting tool, and if you have a need for it, do your research. Anchor makes one, and there are other brands. I can't remember the names of them, but this one has pretty good reviews, so it's not a bad thing. They will talk a lot about efficiency, and efficiency is a comparison of how many watts go into the unit to charge it, and then how many watts you can get back out of it. It's always more in than you get out. There's no such thing as a perpetual motion machine, or at least not to my knowledge. If it were perpetual motion, you could take your output and run it back into your input, and it would just keep itself charged. It doesn't work that way. This unit is not as efficient as some of the competitors. So that's, if you want to call it a con, it is a con, but the con has a pro with it. Because it's not quite as efficient comparing in to out, this one charges faster. I will sacrifice a little efficiency to get a quick charge. Here's why. With my small, I've got a gas generator. It's a tailgate generator, one of those Harbor Freight tailgate generators. It costs $99. So I could buy 2.5 of those. Well, it used to cost $99. Let me say it that way. I can buy 2.5 of those for what I can put into one of these. But my one works just fine. So let's say I want to use this in the house. I can, when I discharge this completely, I can go get my generator, crank it up, put up with the noise for 1 hour, recharge this, and I'm good to go. So that's kind of the benefit that I see. Having this inside means I don't have to run any cords from the outside. A lot of benefit. A bigger one would be able to run your TV and your bigger electronics quite easily. And as I said, I've seen one of the big units, I don't know, probably weighs 40 pounds or better, but I've seen those units actually power a heating ventilation system, heating AC system in a camper. So, it can be done. One of the secrets to these, you see the little light here, and if I turn this one on, There's a light here. Each of these, each light corresponds to an outlet, and when you're sitting and not using the larger power, the 12 volt, the 120 volt, and you're just using these, turn the outlets off, and that reduces the speed at which the batteries drain. Just a little bit of information for you. So I don't know that I would spend $240 to buy this new. I'm very pleased that I spent half that to buy the unit next to new. By the way, if you're a scrounger, there's no better time than Christmas, the Christmas season, to look on those sites like eBay and especially Marketplace, because what you do is you find people who bought this just in case, and then resources get a little tight around Christmas, and then suddenly they're selling things, and you know, that's when you can pick up a deal. So just a little bit of information for you. I am the Bald Guy. I hope you're enjoying the videos. If you are, I hope you'll leave us a like. If you have questions or just feedback, observations, leave us a comment. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. It helps me to grow the channel. I have a lot of fun with this. I have made a commitment. I'm not into controversy, so you're not going to find that kind of thing here. But leave us a like, a subscribe, a comment. If you like to put it on Facebook, we have the same channel over on Facebook at Bald Guy Basics. The exception being over there on a blue moon, I'll be out and not have my GoPro camera, which I film with, and I'll have a phone and I'll make a quick live video there and just post it directly to Facebook. But no editing and no music, no good stuff there. So hope you're having a wonderful season this time of the year, and I'll see you on the next video.